So in this video, I'm going to show you how to test your startup idea in a week so that you don't waste months of your time building the wrong thing and spending tens of thousands of dollars. And this works without needing a big budget, a big team, or even knowing how to code. My name is Rich, and I built and sold a business last year. I worked in tech since 2019 and helped generate tens of millions in revenue. And I'm going to show you today how I test startup ideas using landing pages, ads, and real market signals. And it all starts with step one, which is defining your idea. Step one, define the idea. What does your product service do? We can use this formula here. Product helps who solve pain by doing solution. And we are going to look at some real life examples. Uber helps people without a car get a ride in minutes by connecting them with nearby drivers. And if we look at Airbnb, Airbnb helps travelers find affordable places to stay by connecting them with local hosts. And then Buddy, which is an app that we're working on, Buddy helps people who feel lonely or overwhelmed talk through their thoughts with a digital dog. So another way you can simply write out your business idea or your startup idea is by using something like this. You can type into ChatGPT, make my idea simple, write it for a fifth grader, and then you should get something like this. So for Uber, you get Uber helps people without a car get a ride in minutes. Airbnb helps travelers find affordable places to stay. And Buddy helps people who feel lonely talk through their thoughts with a digital dog. Now we are on step two, where we are going to build a simple landing page. So go to framer.com or Google Framer templates, and then you're going to go to this, scroll down here and click free. And then you can choose any template that you want. I'm going to use the simple one that I use all the time to validate ideas, which is Waitlister. You can preview it and then just see what it looks like. Great. So I'm going to click use for free, and then we're going to start building something. So I'm going to show you what we did for the Buddy app, which is this landing page over here. Basically, once you have a template in mind, you should go and use a prompt like this, and using the idea that we generated and described in step one, write me a compelling headline and sub-headline copy for my landing page. And you want to put that into ChatGPT, and you should get a few different variations. The one that we decided to go with was Buddy is a caring friend you can text anytime. And then sub-headline is talk about your day, your worries, or whatever is on your mind. Buddy is always here to listen. So this is where you can get creative, and if you don't know which one to choose, just choose one and go from there. We're going to speed up this section, but the goal is to make it look more like this one over here. So now we're going to remove some of the components here that we don't need. And on the form section here, you can connect Google Sheets to your Framer landing page and then use that to collect your emails. So right now I'm copying and pasting the headline and sub-headline that we got from ChatGPT, removing the background and changing it to something that fits more of our vibe. Awesome. There we go. Added the logo here and making some adjustments. Going to make adjustments to the text size here. And same thing for the desktop version as well. So that's pretty much it. Then you can change the name to whatever your startup idea is. Go change some of the settings here so that when people search up or click on the link, it won't show the default page description or the title, but it will have your startup info there. And make changes to the general as well. And then you want to go to domains. First, publish and then go to domains. You can get a free Framer domain, and I recommend starting with that. Choose a domain name, and then you should be good to go. And there's our landing page. One more thing. If you need a logo, for this one, I'd recommend working with a designer. But if you really want to go fast, then you can just go to Nano Banana or just generate an image on ChatGPT. So this is a prompt that you can use. I'm sure if you generate at least 10, 15, you will find one that you will think is pretty decent to start with. So in this step, you want to make a few ads because we will be running traffic to our landing page to see if people actually sign up for the thing that we're trying to build. So there is no right way to do this. For example, you can look at competitor ads, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But the goal is to make it as easy as possible. So you can use Canva, or you can also generate these as well. These are just a few different examples. This is the first one that we actually generated. I asked ChatGPT, what is something that, what kind of ad could perform well? I'm thinking of a real life text scenario. So that's kind of what we did. And obviously this didn't generate the text 100%, but it's a good starting point. And we use that to create a few versions of the ad. And this is what we're actually running right now to drive users. But for the waitlist as well, we were running these. All right, so if you want to know how to get inspo, what you can do is go to Meta Ads Library and then go click on your country or the country that you want to market to, click all ads, and then think of a competitor or just a company that you admire that is relatively in your niche, in your space, or it doesn't have to be all the time. Just you want to get a sense of what kind of ads are running well. There are other paid tools, but if you're just starting out, I would just recommend going here. For example, Finch is not a direct competitor, but they are a self-care app, pet app that are doing really well. So these are just a few examples that we can use to create different versions of. So yeah, and you can take a look here. Again, the goal isn't to copy directly. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's to give you inspiration. And then once you have a few ideas, go to ChatGPT or go to your designer and then say, hey, I want to create a version similar to this using our startup idea. So now that we have our ads, we can set up a campaign on Meta, aka Facebook Ads Manager. And the reason we are using an ad platform in the first place is that we can get data really fast. So again, within a week, we're able to see, do people actually sign up for my thing? Or people actually interested, etc. And the reason why I chose Meta is it has a very interesting audience group, right? Meta consists of Facebook and Instagram. So you have this really different audience. If you're a user of both, you know how different they are, but they're owned by Meta, and we're able to target and market to people who are in both, on both social media platforms. So what we want to do here, I'll actually show you a validation campaign we ran for Buddy. So I'll walk that through over here. Okay, so it just starts off by usually choosing the campaign objective, and we set it as leads because that's what we're trying to get and trying to optimize for. And then campaign budget, I would recommend just sticking with this. Daily budget, this is how much you want to spend per day. It really depends on your budget, but if I would recommend at least $25 to $30 per day to get some sort of faster feedback and better results. Okay, and this is where we actually set up the campaign. In terms of naming, I don't know if this is interesting, but how I do it and how we do it is we set up the name as the company name or the app name, whatever, followed by the thing that we want to actually achieve, which is validation, and the geo, so the countries. Conversion location, set this as website because that's where we want to drive traffic to. And data set, this is pixel. So the pixel setup takes, I would say, probably 20 to 30 minutes. I won't go into it in this video just because there are literally thousands of videos and tutorials on how to do that. So conversion event lead. And then over here, this is where we can start targeting our campaign and then the audience that we want to target. Location, I recommend starting off with Canada, UK, United States, but if you're trying to target a different country, that is up to you. Age, this is also dependent on the startup idea, right? So if you have some sort of anti-aging product, most likely you're going to change the age range to 50 plus, versus if it's some sort of camera social media app, it's probably going to be under 25. This is what we set it up as. And then targeting, I'd recommend that start off pretty broad. We initially started off by combining dogs, online chat, and then iOS. So anyone that is included in that, the detailed targeting that we just mentioned, we would then target them. And then you can start adding more things later on, but to make it as simple as possible, just start with 2 or 3. And then now we're on to the ads section. Here, you just want to upload the ads that you created, link to your website, and then over here, add primary text and then headline text here. So I included a prompt. You can use this. You're a world-class copywriter. Generate 5 succinct headlines and ad copy for my startup. Going back here, and then you can add something like this. But that is, the 101 version. Hopefully that is simple. Now you are able to run your campaign. So you can just press publish and you are good to go. Now we're going to look at the metrics and see why we decided to continue and build this app. So once you get some data, what you want to do is set up your columns. This is what I have. You can copy this. The ordering doesn't matter as much, but it should give you an idea on what to set up as your column. So here we spent $262 and got a cost per lead of $1.35. And after doing this a few times, first of all, $1.35 cost per lead is really good, especially if you're targeting the T1 countries, so US, Canada, UK. And something that really stood out for this campaign and just Buddy in general was click-through rate. So we got a 5.3% click-through rate. And for context, anything above 1.5 to 2 is considered good. So we saw an amazing click-through rate, meaning either people are really interested in the idea, or we targeted the right audience. But it's usually a combination of both. So if we have a high click-through rate, that means our cost per click, so I'm measuring here cost per link click, is going to be 34 cents. It's going to be really low. Again, right now, the average cost per click somewhere here, right? This is just the average in the industry average. So you'll want to find out what your average is, but this just tells us that, hey, we are performing way better than average, and that's really good. So we got 195 leads for this specific campaign. And then another thing that you should take a look at is lead CVR. So how you calculate that is you do leads, so the number of leads divided by your landing page views. And this tells you if your landing page is actually converting or not. As a rule of thumb, I like to be above 10 to 15%. So when we saw above 25%, it was like, hey, this is something worth digging into. Great. So those are the 3 numbers that you should focus on. And I'm going to go a little deeper into what you should do if they are not performing the way you'd like. So this is what you can use as a general rule of thumb. Starting off with CTR, like I mentioned, this is click-through rate. And the question it answers is this: is the message resonating with people? So if you want to, so first of all, what's good? Above 1.5% is good. And how to improve it is you either improve the ad hook, the headline, or the ad creative itself. And then conversion rate. So is the offer compelling once they land on the page? What's good? Again, it depends, but anything above 15% CVR, which is conversion rate, is good. And how do you improve it? I found that the best way to improve a landing page is match the messaging from your landing page to the ad, so there is continuity there. And then the second part is just making a really short landing page. So that's the reason why we chose this one. Great. And then cost per lead, is it affordable to acquire leads? If everything else is good, you should naturally have a low cost per lead. But again, what's good depends on your industry. So for example, if you are in B2B and selling to enterprises, you can have a cost per lead that is in the hundreds or even thousands, because you're selling $50,000, $500,000 projects or annual contracts. But if you're selling something that is, more of a commodity or costs less than, let's say, $50, or it's in that range, well, then you need to make sure that the cost per lead or the cost per email, whatever you decide to choose, is pretty good, because as you scale ads, the cost is going to increase and you'll have to pay maybe 10, 20, 30% more. But that's just, a benchmark or more of a guiding principle. So how to improve it? You improve targeting, you improve ads, or you improve landing page conversion. So that's pretty much it. Obviously, there are other metrics that you can think about, but if you have a decent cost per lead, and you can compare this looking at benchmarks. So you can go back here, cost per lead, by industry. This is usually on the higher side, but it gives you an example here. Again, it's sometimes a couple $100 per lead. Great. So this is what you need, and we are going to move on to step 6. So step 6 is arguably the most important step, because this is where you decide. If you get no clicks, what you should do is fix the messaging and the ads. If you get clicks but no one signs up on your website or your landing page, you should fix the landing page. Cheap signups is great. If you get this, continue. And if you have 20, 50, or 100 leads, call them up or email them and ask them, hey, this is Rich from Buddy. This is what we're trying to build. I'd love to get your thoughts on XYZ. So you are moving one step closer into actually, having your idea come to fruition without having to code anything out yet. If you have expensive signups though, you want to reposition and redo everything from the messaging, the ads, and then the landing page side. But this is the most important part. If you have no signal, your clicks are super expensive, no one is signing up, then the best thing to do is be objective about it, kill it, and move on. And I'll tell you why that's really important. So I'm going to share some of the real examples that I've been through to demonstrate that if you don't cut off things that are not working, it might waste you months, if not years, as well as tens of thousands of dollars. So starting off with Airo. So Airo, the idea made sense because it was a co-pilot for marketing managers. And the learning here though was that I spent more time thinking instead of testing. So had an amazing designer work on the landing page for us and prototype the UI, but everything was essentially just within the team. We didn't reach out to marketing managers. We maybe talked to a few, but after learning that this is not what they needed, it was clarity, but also we felt that, hey, like we wasted 3-4 months, building or designing at least something that people just didn't want at the time. And another example would be Jet Design. So this was the design service that we started and sold. We framed it as Netflix for designs. This worked really well because we saw traction within the first month or so, as in we got one paying subscriber. So that gave us enough conviction to go down the path of, hey, how do we get more meetings? How do we get more clients, customers, etc.? And then we scaled that and eventually exited the business. So after that, you might think that we had a good idea on what to start, but as you probably know from other videos and just maybe trying things out yourself, it really is more of a hits business. And Prism was kind of, like that as well, where the premise of it was you click and analyze crypto charts using AI. The concept was good. We had close to 500 or 600 signups. And this is where, it's difficult because we had the validation, but we didn't have the resources, as in we weren't able to figure out the product in itself. So that's something to cover in a different video, but it also gives you an idea that, hey, if you at least get to the validation point, it's still good because you know that people are interested in it, as well as they're willing to pay pre-order for your product or software. And I'll give you another example, something that I was able to stop really quickly. It was called Swish Books. The idea was 300-page book ideas in minutes. It would summarize long, lengthy books on business or any book that you had into just bite-sized chunks. The learning was that people didn't want it, so this was it was good to know early on. Within a week or maybe 2, we were able to test this out and then realize, hey, this isn't worth it. Which brings us to our current project company, which is Buddy, the caring friend that you can text anytime. The learning is TBD, but as of now, we were able to go through the 6-step process of defining the idea and then setting everything up, validating it, and we have the app live and we have hundreds of users and a few paying customers. So, things are going well. Obviously, we'll update and see what the true learning is. But yeah, it's a journey and continuation of finding things that work and just avoiding things that don't. So hopefully this gives you a good idea and understanding on how to validate your ideas.